Final question here. And it's about Andrew Schlecht's Oklahoma City Thunder. It is honestly the question I'm most intrigued by, just straight up in the NBA right now. What in the world does Oklahoma City do with all of the players currently on their roster? They downgraded this a little bit yesterday or 2 days ago by removing Rudy Gay's deal from not from their books. They still have to pay Rudy, but Rudy is going to be released.
Yeah. Yeah, they released him so they could sign Jack White.
This team has 20, I believe, real like NBA contracts.
Yeah.
Right now. They also have Keontae Johnson on a two-way, two ways available. They lose Jared Butler because Jared Butler signs a two-way in Washington with Will Dawkins, former assistant GM. Or no, he was GM of the was he GM or assistant GM?
No, he's assistant.
Oklahoma City. Yeah. He was the assistant GM. Yeah. The Thunder basically still have to cut 5 guys or trade 5 guys for picks. And here's the real issue. All of these guys are good. Or all of them are like interesting in some way. Like, I don't know if Ty Washington is good yet.
Yeah.
But Ty is interesting on some level.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they have interesting guys. I think the main question for me with OKC is like, how much does Presti value having like these bigger expiring deals like Victor Oladipo's?
Yeah.
Because like an expiring $9 million deal, like could be valuable to somebody, toward the trade deadline. And so I wonder about that because they could he's one that makes sense to cut just because you do have talent, there that you could still mine a little bit. Also, the Thunder are going to have legitimately several, they're going to have a good like 9 to 10 man rotation of like good NBA players and not necessarily developmental projects.
And still won't be playing all of the guys who deserve real playing time, even with a 9 to 10 man rotation.
Totally. And this is why the Thunder are going to do the thing where they play 12 guys a night and they shuffle in and out guys from the rotation. You're going to have your base of like 7 guys that will play every game, but then, 8, 9, 10 is going to change, I think, week to week for OKC again, just so they can make sure they have the right guys. Like Ousmane Dieng deserves to play a lot of minutes. And when you start talking about this team, he's not necessarily even one of like the best 10 guys that you mentioned.
Well, it's funny. So like run through this roster, right? Shea is safe. Lou Dort is safe. Chet is safe. Mitsic, like they just signed him. They're not cutting him.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey is safe. Kenrich is safe.
Jalen Williams, both Jalen Williams. We're at 8.
Yeah. Jalen Williams is safe. Jalen Williams, Santa Clara is safe. Casey Wallace is safe. That's 9.
That's 9.
I don't see a world where they release Ousmane Dieng or anything. That's
no. Yeah, there's
like
no way.
Zero chance.
Yeah.
I want to save Jalen. You know what? Other Jalen Williams, I think, is safe. So like that's probably 11.
He had 10, 8, and 8 in a play-in game. Like I think he's safe. I would say he's safe.
So that leaves you with.
Isaiah Joe is probably safe.
Oh, Isaiah Joe is definitely safe too.
That's 10.
There's no way they cut Isaiah Joe.
Yeah.
That leaves you with Davis Bertans and Victor Oladipo. I'm assuming they keep one of those deals.
I think it's Bertans. I think Bertans
current guess. Yeah, I agree. I think Bertans gives you a little bit more flexibility, basically.
Yeah.
So that gets 1. That gets you down to 19.
Yeah.
Our dear sweet boy Poku.
Yeah.
Trey Mann, Usman Garuba, Ty Washington, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Aaron Wiggins, Jack White.
Yeah.
I think get rid of a lot of those guys.
I think you can bump Aaron Wiggins to close to the top of that list of guys that'll probably stay.
I think so too. Aaron Wiggins is pretty good.
Yeah, he can play. I don't know how good Aaron Wiggins is, but he can play. And so I think I'd bump him to the top of that list.
Definitely a rotation player.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. I think he can play for a lot of different teams just because he can shoot it a little bit. He defends. Great character guy as well.
I think if I was an opposing team, I'd be calling about Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
Yeah. That's somebody that I think can probably be had. And if you give a decent second for him, I think that you could have him. And I think he's also he's just in a spot where everybody else has gotten better and he's kind of struggled with injuries, and he didn't really get all that much better at the beginning of last year. But I do think he can help. Like, if I'm a young team, if I'm Charlotte, for crying out loud, I'd offer a second rounder for JRE, just because I think he can help you culturally. I think he can play a little bit of defense. He's also the biggest problem with him is he's just kind of caught in between positions a little bit.
Yes. He's like an undersized center, essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I was another team, I'd be calling about Trey Mann.
Yeah. Trey is an interesting one just because his elite skill is being able to create space off the dribble. He's probably like one of the top 5 best players at creating space off the dribble. Problem is he just didn't make enough threes last year, and he also his build is pretty slight, and he's never going to be like a plus defender. But there is potential for him to be a 6-man type of guy that comes off the bench and can just go on a heater. He scored in his rookie season. He scored 20 points in a quarter twice. So he can fill it up. It's just, I just don't know that he's going to have the room to do that on this Thunder team. And I think
he was awesome at Summer League, I thought. Like, truly awesome on offense.
He's very good at Summer League, yes. But when you start breaking down the guard rotation for the Thunder, it's tough when it's Shea and Giddey and J-Dub and Micic and Casenwall. Like, we're at 5, and I've even said Dort. There's 6.
Yeah.
And a lot of the saving grace for Trey Mann for the Thunder may be that almost all the guys that I just listed can all play up a little bit.
Well, and Aaron Wiggins can play the 2 as well, which is
Wiggins could also be considered a guard. Yes. So it's going to be tough for Trey and Isaiah Joe. There's another one. There's 7. There's just too many guys. And Isaiah spot in the rotation last year, anyways.
And Isaiah Joe is good. Like, Isaiah Joe is actually really good.
Yeah.
So I think that you need.
He can.
And he's on one of the best deals in the NBA right now. Yes. Like, you just can't do it. Someone brought up Trey Mann to the Bucks. Like, that's a brilliant idea. Like,
that'd be great.
I think that's really interesting. The problem is, like, I don't think Trey Mann gets you a first, but Trey Mann probably gets you a couple seconds, right?
Maybe. I think Trey needs a lower pressure environment.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Trey
not wrong.
I think Trey needs a place where he can spread his wings a little bit and be able to go out there and, similar to what Jordan Poole got with the opportunity in like that terrible year for the Warriors, like, get a chance to just go be reckless and figure out who you are. I think that's what he needs. And I think the Thunder tried to give him a role last year that he just couldn't really thrive in. And so I wonder if he just needs somewhere that he can just kind of spread his wings and just try to figure out who Trey Mann is in the NBA.
If you're the Spurs, this is a guy that's really interesting to me.
Oh, yeah. Spurs is a great spot for him.
So the Spurs have a 2024 first round pick from Charlotte that is lottery protected both of the next 2 seasons. And if not, it then becomes a 2026 second and a 2027 second.
Yeah. So this is a 2020. These are 2 seconds.
Well, it's interesting because to me, that kind of pick has some upside, like a little bit of upside, but probably is 2 seconds in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're the Thunder,
so
heartbeat. Yeah.
That's like an interesting deal to me that you could make. They probably have other picks as well that I'm sure that you could try and find like a maybe a better asset value.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Seasons and Sloan in the chat. The Wizards are also an interesting one. Also, you have the Will Dawkins connection as well.
Well, they have a million. They also have a million guys on their roster. So I don't know if the Wizards make total sense, but Trey's probably more interesting than some of their guys.
I would just say that I think a lot of those guys will be cycled in and out over the next calendar year in Washington.
Yeah. What if you did like Trey Mann and a second for that Charlotte pick, basically? But they don't want a 2024 probably. They probably want like a future pick. So like maybe but the future picks we think will probably be 2026 and 2027 seconds with some upside for 2024, 2025 first rounders where they have 1 million of those. I don't know.
I would probably do something like that.
Yeah. I don't think I think he ends up just getting a couple of seconds if he ends up being the odd man out. And I don't think there's any certainty he ends up being the odd man out.
There's no certainty yet. Because I do think they're going to take all these guys to camp and they're going to let them play.
Think that's mostly right. Like it wouldn't surprise me if they move one of them ahead of time just because they get a good offer or something.
Yeah, if they get a good offer on any of those dudes, I think they take it.
Right. Okay. If you had to predict the 5 guys who get cut from the Oklahoma City Thunder right now,
Jack White.
I think he just gets moved to a 2-way, probably, right?
Yeah, because he probably, if you waived him, he'd probably make it through waivers. Then you can sign him to a 2-way. Jack White. Let's see. I'd probably say Oladipo is another one. I think probably both of Ty Washington and Garuba are probably gone.
Okay, 3, 4.
And then I would probably say Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
That's 5. So my prediction is that they keep one of Garuba or JRE.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible.
Because I think they might want just the extra bigger body.
Yeah.
Essentially, because Chet, I'd imagine they don't want Chet to play 80 games this year. Right?
Yeah.
So you probably do want the extra bigger body.
Who would you pick out of those two?
I would rather have Garuba, but I would understand the case for JRE. I think they're pretty close. I'd rather take the flyer on Garuba though.
Yeah.
My prediction is Jack White to a 2-way, Ty Washington elsewhere, Victor Oladipo elsewhere. That's 3. JRE 4. And then I think they move one of Trey Mann or Poku.
I think that's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Poku extension eligible, we mentioned earlier. And the Thunder traditionally just don't let guys get to restricted free agency. They make a decision before then. And so it's definitely a possibility.
I mean, if you're Poku, like you probably sign like if they're willing to give you a 3-year, $21 million deal, like that's super cheap, you probably do that. But
I think so.
I don't know that they'll do that. Like I don't know where the Oklahoma City organization is on the Poku Sans that we're all waiting for.
It's been tough. Just I think his injury luck last year is very ill-timed. And has put him in a weird spot. And then he got hurt again, and he's back working out again now. But it's just been a tough year for Poku. And he got better. It's just he didn't get he's not enough at this point. He still needs to get stronger, and he needs to shoot it better. I think if he can do those things, then he can make it. If he doesn't do those things, if he doesn't do both of those things, I don't think he makes it.
He's still only 21. There's somewhere between a 0 and 100% chance that he's going to be good.
It's true. I like him a lot. I think he's a good player. I think he's a really good person. I think he is working hard. This Thunder team could have 2 or 3 first rounders in next year's draft.
Yes.
And then what do you do?
Which is why you probably can't extend him.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that you don't extend him if you don't think he's tradable after the extension. And I'm just not totally sure that he is after the extension.
The thing I really don't know with Oklahoma City, and maybe this is where we'll finish, and this is where I think that it's the biggest question that I don't know.
Yeah.
On this. I don't know how they feel about Garuba's ball skills.
Mm-hmm.
If they feel like Garuba can handle and can like dribble and pass a little bit, and I think he has some passing. I don't know if he can handle necessarily. I think it's possible they could keep him over Poku,
Yeah.
but they value that skill so much from a like scheme perspective, having
Yeah.
somebody that can dribble and pass and shoot from the
Yeah.
center position,
Mm-hmm.
which is why they love Poku,
Yeah.
and hopefully still love him.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's what they have to figure out on Garuba.
Yeah. Which is why, again, I think they'll take most of these guys to camp and they'll try to sort it out there.
And on top of it, I think the Garuba Jalen Williams player type fits better with Chet than the Poku player type does.
Yeah. And they are
In
also
my
in search of physicality as well, which Garuba fits better as well.
Yeah.
Like that's where they're headed.
I have a sneaking suspicion they keep him. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I have a weird sneaking suspicion that they keep him.
I think he's an interesting fit, especially if he can pass, then
Yeah.
and yeah. Because I think the Thunder have been really good at putting guys in position to just kind of unlock the best parts of their game. And that's where like Isaiah Joe became a player last year because the Thunder just know how to unlock these guys. And so if they can do something like that with Garuba, Tai, I just don't think there's enough room. I mean, we talked about Trey Mann. That's a guy that they selected in the first round, and we're not even sure that even after having a stellar summer league that he can do it. And so that's why I just doubt that Tai can make it.
There. He'll make it somewhere, I think. I'm still a believer in
in
Tai.
Oklahoma City. Yeah, to be clear.
It's just, I think it's going to be hard for him with Oklahoma City.